Good morning everyone, Paul from Paul's Body Engineering here. How are we going? This video is more of an instructional video or an introductory video for those specifically looking to compete. And when I say compete, I reference fitness competitions, bikini competitions, bodybuilding competitions, all those sorts of things. As a prep coach, I often get a lot of inquiry regarding people potentially wanting to compete, and there's a lot of unanswered questions, or they come into the sport with very little knowledge or understanding of what's involved. So this video is going to give you a breakdown of what you need to consider before you actually take that leap and look at competing. And look, you don't necessarily have to compete with me. There's plenty of other amazing coaches out there, but I think it's important that you have a good understanding of what's involved to make the best educated decision for yourself so that you're not caught through the competing or prepping process. So first port of call, these are the questions you need to ask yourself if you want to take that leap. And the first one is, are you financially ready? Now what I mean by that is, as with every amateur sport, there is associated costs. Now in particular with fitness and bodybuilding shows, it's quite an expensive hobby to do, an expensive sport to undertake. So you need to make sure that you are aware of the associated costs before you commit. Now what I mean by that is, there's federation registration that you're looking at about 150 bucks for that. Then you're looking at entry fees per show, per division that you do. So say you turn up to a show in Brisbane, for example, you're already registered, so you're already $150 in. Then you have to pay for your first division plus any others on top of that. Now, if you're a female competitor, there's things to consider like your bikini, like your hair and makeup, like tanning, posing, not to mention obviously coaching fees as well, because look, from my own personal experience, I would never do it or recommend it without going in with a coach, just because the science behind the nutritional aspect of it is very important. So you need to make sure that you're going into the show in the healthiest position possible. So they're cost considerations to seriously understand before you commit to a show. So that's number one, are you financially ready? Number two, are you mentally ready? Now, for those that are inexperienced in regards to this, what I mean by mentally ready is it's very, very tough, it's mentally exhausting, and look, most coaches will request a minimum of 24 week prep. So you're looking at almost 6 months of prepping and dieting and training before you get to show. Now that's a long time, so you need to be mentally prepared to undertake that duration without obviously, I guess, falling off the wagon in terms of losing control of the goal at hand. So mentally, are you mentally tough enough to get through this? It is a grind, there's no doubt about it. It is a complete and utter grind, and only the best get to stage, and that's why they always look amazing, because plenty of competitors that start the journey may not finish it, or they start the journey and don't get to the end in the best condition possible. So another question to ask yourself, are you mentally ready? Next question, are you emotionally ready? It has been known to really take its toll on people, particularly the nutrition side of things. If you come from a history where you haven't really tracked or maintained a certain calorie level before, and then you come into prepping, it can take a massive toll mentally and psychologically and physiologically on you in regards to the nutrition side of things, where you have to track everything, you have to weigh everything. You've got to be very litigious in your approach to ensure that you follow the directions given by your coach to get you to stage in the best condition possible. And emotionally, you can get very emotional regarding this. The term hangry is not just a made-up term, it's actually a real thing. You can get very hungry and angry at the same time. So those around you can get impacted by that. So you need to ask yourself, are you emotionally ready to take on this journey? Next question, and I just touched on it. Do you have the support of family and friends? Big, big thing. It is such a journey. It is such a tolling journey to have, to undertake. So be sure that your husband, your wife, your children, your parents, your close friends and family, your inner circle are on board. Many people do not understand why we do this sport. Why do we put ourselves through such long dieting process to get to stage and we're basically nothing to then be judged by others? Some people just don't understand that, and that's fine, that's okay. Everyone's got their own opinion. But if you're adamant about doing this journey, you need to make sure you've got a support network behind you, because they'll be the ones that are the backbone of your day-to-day activities, particularly when you get closer to the end. You know, in those last 6 to 4 weeks where it's getting really tough, you'll be relying on them to help you prep your food, to help encourage you to get to training, to help you not give up, basically. So make sure your friends, and particularly your family and those closest to you, are on board. Okay. Do you have a training base behind you? Now, this is a big question because plenty of people just come up with the idea, right, I'm going to compete, you beauty, no problem. But they've got no history of training. They haven't been training for 3, 4, 5 days a week for the past 6 months. They just do it here and there and everywhere, but really don't have the intensity or the level of training that's required to then get you through a solid prep, whereby you are showing a solid foundation of a physique. So if you haven't really seriously trained, and I mean weight training obviously, you go to a good coach, a coach that does understand prepping quite well, they may turn you away and say, look, I need a good 6 months of weight training behind you before I can put you on stage. Last thing you want to do is go through a 6-month prep, particularly with a coach that is not as experienced as others, and turn up on stage and you look, I hate to use the word skinny, but you do, because your muscularity is underdeveloped. So it's a big thing to be competitive, and that's what we do it for. We want to be competitive, we want to be considered. So you need to understand that you may need to spend more time training before you can even start a prep journey. And this goes hand in hand with nutrition, which is the next question. Do you have a nutritional history? Okay, if you're one of the people out there, and it's a very common thing where you're a bit of a yo-yo dieter, you don't sort of fluctuate in terms of your calories are quite low because you're constantly trying to lose weight, and you think, right, a bikini contest is going to be the thing that's going to get me to the next level and give me that amazing physique, yet you start, your average intake on a day is 1,200 calories. Well, guess what? If you approach a good coach, again, they're going to turn you away, or they're going to put you on a reversing plan for the next 6 months to get your calories to a level that we can then start to prep. Look, most females, and I'm throwing ballpark figures out here, so again, it is individually based, but most females should start over 2,000 calories. Most males should start around the 3,000 to 3,500, if not higher, again, depending on their body composition, depending on their level of training, etc. So if you're at 1,200 or 1,000, I personally wouldn't start you, but you need to have a plan in place to ensure that your nutritional history is adequate enough to then get you to a place where you can start. So these are all the factors that you need to ask yourself. And the last one is, are you committed? It is a massive commitment. People don't understand the massive commitment and the toll it takes on an individual. If you've got a young family, it becomes such a selfish bubble-like environment that you put yourself into, because you've got to train nearly every day. You've got to track all your food. You've got to prep all your meals. You have to withdraw yourself from certain social outings and things like that. Look, the smart people and those that have done it before can still do that. It's not a problem, but you need to maintain your nutrition. So by doing that, you might have to take food with you when you go out. If you're going to a barbecue or a party or something like that, you might take your food with you, or you eat before you go and you don't partake in the food that's available there. If you have to go to a restaurant, you might have to eat strategically while you're there, maybe just ordering fish and salad and nothing else. But again, you need to track that. So these are the things that you need to consider, because, it is a very big commitment. And like I said, a good coach will probably say, look, we need 24 weeks, 26 weeks. That's 6 months. That's 6 months out of the year that you are going to be dieting, training, and incredibly focused on the end goal. And the end goal, believe it or not, might mean that you're on stage for 5 minutes. So you're going to spend all this time training and dieting to be on stage for 5 minutes. So you want that 5 minutes to count. So it is a massive commitment, and that's why, as I said before, not everyone can get to the end goal in either A, the best condition, or B, they just don't make it because it's become too hard. So look, they're the questions you need to ask yourself. This is an introductory video in regards to contest prep. So if you have considered it in the past, those are the questions you need to ask yourself, and you need to sit down and go, right, am I prepared? Am I ready? Am I ready to commit? Am I financially viable? Am I emotionally ready? Am I mentally ready? Is everyone going to support me on this journey? So these are the things you need to take into consideration before you invest your time, your money, and your effort into a fitness competition. That's it from me, guys. I hope that sums things up. Sorry it took a little bit longer than expected, but I wanted to make sure I encapsulated everything that's required to get you to stage and a full understanding and appreciation of what's involved. But that's it. Any questions, or by all means ask me. I've prepped plenty of people so I can answer any question you might have regarding fitness shows, bikini competitions, etc. That's it from me. Paul from Paul's Body Engineering. Find me on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. And as always, keep smiling.